Johnson
has joined.
Thanks, Mr. Johnson. If you have personal business during the meeting, please move for a recess. If you are participating telephonically, please mute your phone unless you are speaking. Also, when speaking, please state your name for those streaming the meeting. As a reminder to all attendees, this meeting is being streamed live. The camera is located directly in the back of the council chambers above the clock. Robert's Rules of Order is the parliamentary authority for council meetings under Wasilla Municipal Code 2.04.090. Under this authority, I respectfully request council observe the following. 1, kindly seek recognition before speaking. 2, that no member speaks more than twice on the same motion without an affirmative vote on a motion to suspend the rules. 3, that no member speaks a second time until everyone who wishes to do so has spoken once. The purpose of recognizing these rules is to ensure the right to speak is equally respected and that discussion is not dominated. Madam Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councilmember Sullivan Leonard.
Here.
Councilmember Graham.
here.
Councilmember Johnson.
Here.
Councilmember Crafton.
Here.
Councilmember Vlock.
Here.
Councilmember Rubio. Here. You do have a quorum, Madam Mayor.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And Mr. Crockett, if you would please.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The first item of business is approval of the agenda. Are there changes to the agenda? You threw me off my game, Mr. Graham.
Glad I could help.
Oh, you will. Okay, is there objection to the agenda? Hearing none. The agenda is approved as read. Special orders of the day, there is none, so we'll move to commission and agency reports. Airport Advisory Commission, Mr. Shaw.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Last Thursday, we had our January Airport Advisory Commission meeting, which was preceded by a airport master planning meeting on Wednesday. So we had that public meeting at the Menard Center, and so Thursday had some recap on that, the events during the meeting, information that we learned, the public turnout. That public meeting was very well attended by airport users, neighbors, interested members of the public. Mayor was there, Deputy Administrator Nygaard was there, my staff was there, and we had a very good presentation by HDL and their Northern Economics subcontractor. And so there were no action items at the Airport Advisory Commission, but we did hear from about 3 or 4 members of the public about snow removal and some other things. So it was mostly just a data sharing and a discussion time and no action items. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Parks and Rec Commission, Mr. Bell.
Scott Bell, Recreational Services Director. Had a Park and Recreation Commission meeting January 10th. Recapping some of the discussion was the New Year's Eve fireworks show, which we thought was a fantastic success with a lot of support from the police department that helped us with a lot of traffic control, things like that, to get people out of there, because that event just seems to keep growing and the number of cars was just crazy. And the Public Works, they did a great job. They did a lot of the pre-event stuff, clearing the road up to the top of the hill, the parking lot, bleachers, bathrooms, everything like that. So a lot of thank yous go out to all the other departments that help support us in that event. Jesse Griffith, the Building and Parks Supervisor, had recapped the Lake Lucille Park that they'll be repairing the dock. We're working on a bigger parking lot for the dog park, restrooms at Newcomb Park, and a new swing set at Nellie Park. And the only unfinished item we've been working on still is our Parks Passport program. And we are working on the design for that with the anticipation of April 1, hopefully being able to go to print so we can get that distributed. No other new business, and our next meeting will be March 13th.
Thank you. There is one ordinance scheduled for public hearing this evening. Madam Deputy Clerk, please read the ordinance by title.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Amending the fiscal year 2024 budget by accepting and appropriating an Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant in an amount not to exceed $180,780 for the purpose of adding one multi-jurisdiction drug task force investigator position at the Wasilla Police Department for assignment to the statewide drug enforcement unit.
Okay. The public hearing on ordinance serial number 24-03 is now open. Anyone wishing to testify, please come forward and begin by stating your first and last name. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. Seeing no one, the public hearing is closed. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance serial number 24-03?
Madam Mayor, I move ordinance serial number 2403.
Is there a second?
I second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Crackton and seconded by Councilmember Rubio to adopt ordinance serial number 24-03. Is there discussion? Mr. Green?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If we could get the chief to kind of weigh in, we're adding a position here, which obviously is going to be filled internally. What effect is this going to have on our patrol capabilities moving forward until we get the position set?
To Councilmember Graham through the mayor, the idea behind this is that we'll backfill this position. It's 100% funded through that JAG grant. When we move that selected individual over, then we will backfill for patrol so that the patrol numbers don't get short by putting somebody over the drug unit.
Okay, so we're currently 2 short or 3 short?
I accepted a resignation on our latest new hire. He resigned last week, so that puts me down at 3 positions currently right now.
And then this would put us at 4?
We'll be at 4 with will be backfill, and then if the grant goes away, then that person would get absorbed into the vacant positions that I have.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mayor.
Is there other discussion? Anyone on the phone?
No, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Hearing none. Madam Deputy Clerk, please take a roll call vote on the motion.
Councilmember Sullivan Leonard, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Crafton?
Yes.
Councilmember Bealock?
Yes.
Councilmember Rubio? Yes. Madam Mayor, that motion passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. We are now at persons to be heard, a time for members of the public to share their views with the council. This is not a question and answer period or a time for dialogue. Speakers may be referred to administration, or issues raised may be taken under advisement by the council or administration. The first one is Chris Tyree. Please begin your testimony by stating your first and last name. Comments are limited to 3 minutes.
My name is Chris Tyree. I gave you an envelope for the lawyer that has the RICO law in it. On page 10, it talks about using common sense. It's 9-7.11, RICO, conspiracy, secret nature, which requires common sense, which is what we're talking about with pornography at school. It's common sense that we don't give kids pornography. I have written about 100 of you government officials, and not one person has had the cojones to get up and say, hey, no pornography for these children. No, everybody is protecting it. That's wrong. You government people need to quit sticking together like this. This is wrong because you got a lot of adults that are trying to tell you it's wrong. What normal adults wants a boy in the girls' locker room so he can show his penis to girls? Girls don't need this. What normal adults want to expose sweet innocent children to pornography? What normal adults wants to pretend all day while a child is being coached to be trans and use different pronouns? What normal adult whispers in a child's ear and says, "We don't have to tell your parents," or "It's okay to have secrets"? What normal adult indulges a full-grown man with a penis that he is and can be a woman or have a baby? No, they can't. What normal adult does not know the history of what is going on with the pornography, with the transgender, with the gay? It's all an agenda. It's purposely being done to muddy the waters for children. What you're doing is confusing them and traumatizing them. What kind of adults do we have in education to be doing this and at the libraries? Where are the academics, which are brain food? It's more important to teach about gay, trans, violence with kids. You know, I want my children to be brainy. And I'll tell you, I have one brainy daughter that quit school at 11 and she's got her master's degree. That's how you teach a child. You don't teach them stupid stuff that's going to dumb them down and make them easily controlled by the government. And that is what is happening with the schools. I'm really upset that you guys are not looking at the RICO law. There's a lot of good stuff in there, and I highlighted it. Thank you.
Mr. Stearns?
Good evening, my name is Tom Stearns. I'm the Senior Ambassador for the Wausau Area Seniors Incorporated. We will be closed on February 19th for President's Day. Our nutrition services, her name is Kat, she's the manager, is challenging the community to sponsor every meal in July, 22 working days or 22 days. We already have 2 filled. The sponsorships are regular meals, $400, and holiday meals at $500. And you get to choose what the meal is for the day. And then you can also sponsor our Meals on Wheels routes too. This is really important because the way that we get paid for these meals is grants. But when we get people helping, it gives us more opportunity to have better meals for our people and to defray the costs of what we're doing. So this is really important. Christmas, that was last month. But because of the great job that all of you did and your generosity for the seniors in this community, we were able to give each of our Meals on Wheels participants a bag that had different things in it for them. And some of the comments were really great. They said that this was probably the only gift that they would get for Christmas. And they really appreciated what they did. And then if they were there at our Christmas party, everybody walked away with 2 gifts. It was really great. So we thank you for your help in that. We're still looking for 1 board member. If you know anybody in our community that would like to be a board member for the Wausau Area Seniors Incorporated, please call Marlene Munsell at 907-206-8795. And then Aspen House is going up. If you go down to KGB, you'll see this big building, and that's ours. They're working inside now because it's a little cool outside. Let's see. Healthy Aging Program. We've done with Christmas. We have all these food that we've taking in that we have to do something about it, come to our healthy aging program. Thank you.
Thank you. Bert? Politadick? I probably missed the name of it.
That's all right. People know me as Bert or Politadick is my stage handle. I am coming forward today in regards to the MatSu Borough's Public Library Review Board. We had them last week. 2 books were being reviewed at the MatSu Assembly Chambers. And it's not so much about the material that was being expressed there. It was the fact that the people that are sitting on that board are very much extremist activists that are reviewing these books. Their justification for the books that are being found in our public libraries is their shared experiences with those books. It doesn't matter if they're pornographic, glorified pedophilia, rape, binging, all of that other stuff. Their shared experiences gives that justification of why they think those books should be on the shelves. Now, those same shared experiences, the reasons that they say that they should not be held legally liable, a lawsuit placed against them, jail time for putting this type of material into our children's hands, is because they have not read what has been shelved. Well, now this review board has read those books that have been reviewed. They outright know they have no business being in our public library system, but again, their shared experiences, their own individual experiences growing up in life that reflected within those books, thinks that's justification to have them there. The other reason why I'm here today is because of my broadcast of that particular assembly board review that they had. The extremists on that board have personally gone out and began targeting my sponsors or people that support what I do on the sideline, like what I'm doing here today. They have gone and targeted them, publicly and privately gone after their businesses. One of the businesses resides here in Wasilla. Very prominent business, very well known, I'm sure, by all of you sitting up here in front of me. In fact, you guys had a grand opening here for the other day for them having a ribbon company cutting in front of their business. One of the board members took it upon herself to go and target this individual because I've been promoting their business at the end of my broadcast for a donation that they had made, and their promotion of them as a sponsor within the company that I have, Politadick, is the reason why we need to think about what we are going to look forward to as a public library review board. Personally, I think we need to have advocacy here of our council members in front of us to have this board banned, removed, dissolved, completely taken out, and be replaced with conservative-minded people, people that are in the public, not librarians who are already activists to keep this agenda in play.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Jackie, go for it.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. My name is Jackie Goforth. I'm handing you a handout that shows at the very beginning what it is like standing in front of these boards and exactly how they act. Now, I want you to know that if you are on a governing board and you write a rule or policy or procedure out, and then you fail to follow it, you have devalued your policy or procedure, you have shown contempt for it, and you have made it so that no one else is going to value your policy and procedure since you don't follow it. Now, the book I am dealing with, and it is in Wasilla, and we'll be speaking about that my second time, has this kind of stuff in it. I'm kind of liking this blood thing. Fetish, fixation, it's not quite an obsession yet, but I can see it growing into that. Drip, drip, steady, slow, drip, drip. Quicker yet, drip, 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 drip. I'd probably just let myself drip, but I did promise to show up at work and help out with the Halloween decorations. Now, that's for cutting. That's for self-harm. Now, when it comes to the sexual ones, wonder who was on top when they did have sex. Sex, sex, sex. I really have to stop thinking about it so damn much, you know. mommy and daddy, blah, 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 sex, sex, sex. I really gotta stop wanting to have it and more of it. Clumsy sex, choreographed sex, imagined sex. I've half thought about experimenting with a girl or two. Sex, 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 and what goes with that? Drugs, more drugs and alcohol, of course. That is why this book, as I told them, is glamorizing these situations. It glamorizes sex, it glamorizes incest, it glamorizes drug abuse, it glamorizes self-harm, and that's also called enticing. None of those have anything to say about how bad those things are. None of them. They just tell you things that make you want it. So this is what one of the library board members had to say during her comment. I wish there had been a book like this when I was a teenager, books that showed the healthy way to deal with severe dysfunction, and it did not glamorize. This woman said this book did not glamorize, and I just showed you it did. Now, since that happened, she went out online and she put terrorism. Terrorism is the unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians in pursuit of political aims. And when someone said this is every politician, she said it's also the folks who are trying to ban books around here. Terrorism? Remember what I said. Accuse the opposition of what you're doing as you do it. And here is what she's put out. I just found out that you support the trash that Politadick reports. I will never come into your establishment and I will spread the word. This is what a library board member does after a meeting. Who is the terrorist, really? Really? Who? Thank you.
Karen Lewis.
Good evening, my name is Karen Lewis. Several states have passed laws that could sentence people to years of prison if they provide obscene books to minors. Librarians face years of imprisonment and thousands of dollars in fines for providing sexually explicit, obscene, or harmful books to children under new state laws that permit criminal prosecution of school and library personnel. At least 7 states have passed such laws in the past 2 years, 6 of them in the last 8 months. More than 20 similar bills in 2023, half of which are likely to come up again in 2024. Some laws impose severe penalties on librarians, who until now were exempted in almost every state from prosecution over obscene material. One example is an Arkansas law that was implemented in 2023 that says school and public librarians as well as teachers can be imprisoned for up to 6 years and fined $10,000 if they distribute obscene or harmful texts. In addition to Idaho and Arkansas laws, Indiana, Missouri, North Dakota, and Oklahoma enacted laws mandating fines or imprisonment or both for school employees and librarians. The Indiana law says school staffers can be forced to pay up to $10,000 to serve 2.5 years in prison for providing obscene or harmful material to minors. The 2022 Oklahoma law says school employees and public library staffers can be fined $20,000 to serve up to 10 years in prison for facilitating indecent exposure to obscene material or child pornography. Tennessee has passed 2 measures, one that targets schools and another that targets book publishers or vendors selling to schools. One of the Tennessee laws says book publishers, distributors, and sellers can face up to 6 years in prison and up to $103,000 in fines for providing obscene matter to K-12 schools. I know librarians and their library committees, publishers, and vendors have had free run for far too long, but those days are over. We are in the process of returning the days to when children were safe in libraries and parents could trust the librarians, and the books that were available in schools didn't steal the children's innocence or warp or confuse their ideas about sexuality. We need to do that here, and we're working on it. Texas has banned over 800 obscene books. And they were removed in 22 school districts. Florida, 566 obscene books were removed in 21 school districts. Pennsylvania, 457 obscene books were removed and still growing. And this year we're going to see a lot more laws in a lot more states. We're going to stop this. We didn't know this was going on for about 2 decades. And these people have put this obscenity in the hands of our children for purposes. They have a plot and a plan, and it is to destroy these children. It is to make them immoral. Why? Because, I don't know, they don't have morals, certain, the librarians. Dawn. Jessica.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the Assembly. I'm Jessica Vieira. I am the CEO of the Greater Wasilla Chamber of Commerce. And I just wanted to talk to you tonight about our Support Local November program that we held back in November 2023 in partnership with the City of Wasilla. We're extremely grateful for your presenting sponsorship of that event. We do this event, this is our 5th year doing this iteration of this event. We spread it out through that month of November so that it's not confined to just that small business, Black Friday, holiday shopping, chaotic weekend, to give our businesses just a little bit more exposure and highlighting throughout the entire month of November. This year we had, oh, you know what, it's not on my sheet. I could not tell you the exact number of businesses. I think it was almost 40 businesses participating with us this year. Most of our businesses choose to do things that don't require somebody to spend money with them, so that it's super inclusive and anybody in any income bracket can join along with our program. So it's a little harder to measure the financial impact for the community, but what we could measure through receipts, we had over $11,000 in receipts turned into this program this year, and we had an unmeasurable impact in social media and brand recognition for our participating businesses. We had over 151 people from the Wasilla area participate with us. They completed 337 missions, which was checking in or spending money at one of those local Wasilla businesses. The top mission completed was actually the City of Wasilla, people signing up for your newsletter, which just increases your reach within the community and exposes more of what the city's doing for our community, which I think is fantastic. Alaska Family Dental, Rocks for All Ages, House of Bread, and UMV were the rest of that top 5. So we greatly appreciate the city supporting that. The Wasilla Chamber's next brand recognition program is our Love Local promotion, which runs from February 1st through February 14th. It's daily giveaways through our social media page, Wasilla Chamber of Commerce, on Facebook and Instagram. So we'd love for everyone to join us for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Tracy Lorenz.
Okay, good evening. My name is Tracy Lorenz, and many of you may know me as one of Tracy's Treasures in Wasilla. My husband and I have raised 2 boys here in the Valley. Both of our boys were Eagle Scouts, varsity quarterbacks, and are both elite Navy specialists. My husband honorably served 21 years in the Air Force. To say I am a proud American and a proud Alaskan is an understatement. I am here tonight to address the ethical complaint. I need to tell you how this complaint came about first. So I have a booth at the Alaska State Fair every year. I randomly give away 2 wooden flags, handmade wooden flags, in honor of those who have served. I love my military. A gentleman who I know now has a political platform. He won one of these flags. I don't personally know this man. He did a broadcast the other night, and at the end he showed the flag with my business card. I took it as, oh, he did a shout out to me. I was DM'd Saturday morning by a lady named Kathy Kaiser, who is a member of the MatSu Library Board, a member of the Alaska Library Association, Intellectual Freedom Committee, an English professor at the University of Alaska Fairbanks, Bristol Bay campus, and the president of Friends of the Sutton Library. She wrote to me, and I will quote, "I just found out that you support the trash that Politadick reports. I will never again come into your establishment, and I will spread the word." We argued for an hour back and forth. I literally had no idea what she was talking about at the moment. I tried to explain to her that I have no idea what is going on. She told me I was a liar, and as a local small business, I should not be intimidated, bullied, harassed by a board member of the borough. I'm appalled how this member attacked me with no proof and threatened my very livelihood because she assumed my political beliefs were not aligned with hers. She never once asked me if I sponsored this business or what my position was. I would have told her. She used her authority as someone important in the community to let me know that she and her associates had the power to destroy my business. I've worked very hard to get where I am today. I do not discriminate against my customers based on their beliefs, religion, political affiliation, or race. I'm so sorry. And I know that I'm sure there will be repercussions by me speaking out, but I will and I do not and will not let someone be bullied, harassed anymore. And I'm not happy, and I sent you a picture of part of the text that she sent me, and that's how it started. If you want to see it, I have my phone, and you can read the hour of her calling me horrible things and everything, but I will say at the very end, I was not very ladylike. Thank you very much.
Tracy, our library is not part of the MatSu Borough's library.
Okay.
It is the city of Wacilla's library only.
Okay. Because the way she was talking to me, she was on the board, she was this, she was that, and she was evil and mean. So I thought she was associated with this. So I apologize for that then.
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Daniel Shaw.
My name is Daniel Shaw, and I live at 1400 South Cotton Drive, Wasilla. I've been there for 23 years. I wanted to testify on this ordinance 2406 that you're getting ready to vote on or whatever. And I'd like to approve it. There should be some other things in there besides medical waste, besides oil and grease with medical waste. It's kind of late for my property. It's like, of course, the barn door has been opened and the horses are gone. But that's what I'm going to do, testify that, vote for it, and update you on my property. And that's all I got to say.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. Rebecca, I'm going to butcher this last name, so I'm going to try. Please begin by saying your first and last name.
Okay, my name is Rebecca Rogers, Madam Mayor, and City Council. Would love to talk to you guys. Okay. I have to write this down because I talk to little children all day. My name is Rebecca. I'm a mother of 3 of your children and a beautiful 13-year-old bonus daughter. I'm a homemaker, and I'm a proud friend of the Wasilla Library. In a society that is so disconnected by our cell phones and devices and anxiety, our library brings people of all demographics together. Our family, amongst other things the library offers, partakes in the preschool story hour, where my children and myself have made lifelong friends. We partake in various friends events. One of our favorites is the story walk. It's around the outside of the library. It encourages getting outside, exercise, and of course reading. There's a new book every month. Personally, I like the Firelight Book Club. We meet once a month and read books I might normally not pick for myself, and have lively discussions with individuals with different opinions and perspective than myself. What a gift our library is, truly. I got a library card 6 years ago, knowing I wanted to instill the love of books and learning in my children. Because my children are under 18, I know what they are checking out at the library. Because my children are under 18, they can't be in the library unsupervised without my permission. Because my children are under 18, I have the honor and privilege of instilling in them good and bad, right and wrong, and how to navigate all the beautiful and ugly things in this world. My hope is all books can be a tool in that tremendous endeavor. Thank you for your time. I also wanted to say, I read this for my husband, right? I'm preparing because I'm scattered. And my 5-year-old was listening and she says, just tell them you love your kids, Mom. Just tell them you love your kids. So, yeah,
Jeannie Trzynski.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Jeannie Trzynski. I'm President of Friends of Wasilla Library, and thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. 30 years ago, my husband and I moved to Alaska. He always wanted to live here. I thought we were coming for a year or two. And here we are. I knew nothing, absolutely nothing about it. We came sight unseen. He was hired. As he likes to say, we spent a century in Glen Allen 1 year because as a public health nurse, we had to live kind of off the road system, and he knew that if I lived any further off the road system, I wasn't going to stay, so Glen Allen was it. It was an adventure, and actually there was a lot of great things, but then he was offered 2 opportunities. We could come to Fairbanks, or we could come here to Wasilla. We traveled to both places, we talked to a lot of people, and everywhere we went, people said, go to Wasilla because it's a community. It is such a great community. Community is what Wasilla is all about. And that's why we're here, and that's why we've stayed here. And it's really why I, since 2001, have been serving on the Wasilla Friends of the Library Board and volunteer anywhere from 10 to 40 hours a week. I really value community, and I value the opportunity to be a part of the library. I'm one of 9 children. That's the only way I had books when I was a kid, was to be able to go to the library. And it's funny because these folks think that these books only came out like in the last 20 years, but Valley of the Dolls was a big deal when I was like in 7th grade, so I'm pretty sure this stuff has been out there for a while. And all kinds of people read it. I didn't read it. I knew what my parents' standards were and what they expected, but a lot of my friends were reading those books, and I've had tons of people tell me about reading Stephen King. That was the really wild stuff they read. Kids read stuff. And really, there's so much great literature that says that informs and supports kids that struggle, and also it helps kids build better morals. I mean, I read The Outsiders, which was a really big deal when I was in high school. It's about a gang and drugs. I neither became a member of a gang, nor have I ever taken any illegal drugs. And part of it's because I was like, I don't want to live that life. It does matter to have good books in the hands of kids, and books that tell true and honest stories. I'm a little disappointed with some honesty that's been going on. Last meeting, January 8th, Jackie Goforth brought to you a handout on a book called If You Call Me By Your Name. So I went to the Wasilla Public Library the next morning to get the book because I thought I better read it to see what it's all about. It is not in the Wasilla Public Library collection. I shall continue my explanation of concerns on the next section.
Thank you. Mary Robbins.
If I'd known we could do handouts, I would have been doing handouts all along, but no. Good evening, Mayor Ledford, council members, staff, people listening at home. My name is Mary Robinson. I'm a City of Wasilla resident, and I do represent myself. So last night, I watched the January 8th meeting, 2 hours and 5 minutes. I added a few extra minutes because I wanted to play back some things because I really couldn't believe my ears. Excellent presentation by Mr. Miller, the HR director. Average 26% turnover in past several years. If I understood correctly, 2023, 32 voluntary resignations. So I'm not mudslinging, I'm not picking on any particular person here. I made sure that I wrote down what some of the council member comments were. One of the council member comments were asking if HR surveys all departments to see if city employees are happy so that we don't lose further talent from the city of Wasilla. Are we listening to our employees? Same council member went on to say, I want to make sure that employees are seen and heard and valued and respected. and then in the next breath said, I am so glad that the information that library staff are groomers were brought to us by people in the know. Do you honestly think that your library staff feels respected, valued, when they've been called groomers, pedophiles? So I'm lucky I have in-house legal counsel, married to an attorney, and he said, honey, that's an actionable defamatory statement. He said, is it recorded? I said, yes it is. He's like, So, I'm not threatening anything, I'm not saying anything, but do you honestly think, I want all of you in this room to put yourself in that place of the library director, supervisors, library staff, that if someone is standing there screaming at you, as some of the book challengers have at the reconsideration meetings, at different meetings, and saying to someone that you're a groomer and a pedophile, are you going to feel heard and seen and valued and respected as a City of Wasilla employee? I'm a little nervous because I went to the MatSu Assembly meeting on Tuesday the 16th, and they passed a resolution that all borough residents should arm themselves and have adequate ammunition. I don't see this ending well for borough library staff. So I just want to say, libraries are important to me. I've been a reader my whole life, and I ask you, council members, to please support your library staff. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
That's all that's signed up. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak at this time? Please begin your testimony by stating your first and last name.
My name is Linda Sloan. This is about the 8th meeting I have attended over the last year on perverted pornographic books on our local library shelves. I attended the meeting last Thursday, January 18th, on the library book review for the borough libraries. The library directors and librarians tell us with a straight face, these books are beneficial for minors and need to be available in our taxpayer-funded libraries, and that these books are not obscene. The definition for obscene is offensive to morality or decency, indecent, depraved, obscene language, causing uncontrolled sexual desire. These books are very obscene. You can review that meeting yourself on Politadick. Over the course of this last year, after attending these meetings, I don't acknowledge any improvements to this situation. Moving books to another shelf or section in the library or changing the sign from young adult to adult is unacceptable. These books aren't good for anyone and do not belong on our local library shelves at all. We the people do not want to give our hard-earned tax dollars to buy perverted, vulgar, obscene, pornographic filth. This is shattering to traditional family values. We build beautiful multi-million-dollar buildings but have Marxist librarians in them and Marxist teachers in the schools, polluting our most precious children and grandchildren. We need to consider closing these indoctrination institutions. We are not getting our money's worth. Privatize the libraries and schools. Private enterprise certainly couldn't do any worse than what we have now. This is a leadership issue. Leadership at all levels, from the White House to the MatSu Borough, won't enforce existing laws. It's our leadership that is tearing our beloved country apart, dividing the people on issues that are clearly right or wrong. May God bless and protect the MatSu Borough through the shed blood of Christ Jesus. I also want to add a thank you to Councilman Johnson for recommending the books The Tuttle Twins by Connor Boyack. I ordered a set for the 5 to 11-year-olds because that is the ages of our grandchildren. I only read 3 of them so far, but can't read the rest of them. I quote page 55 in the book. Learn About the Law by Connor Boyack. Quote, do not the legislators and their appointed agents belong to the human race? Or do they believe that they themselves are made of a finer clay than the rest of mankind?
KJ. You say potato, I say potato. I believe it's my right to parent my child, not the government. Oh, I'm sorry, Kathy, all right. So I just wanted to do a little reality check of the borough meeting at Thursday morning because I was there too. And I understand that the city of Wasilla does not have governance power over borough libraries and vice versa. But I am pretty disgusted by the constant misinformation being thrown and distributed throughout the valley. For example, sir, you have your video posted on Facebook as a school board meeting. It was not, it was a borough meeting. Schools and public libraries are 2 different entities. Secondly, the shared experiences that they were talking about of the people who were on the reconsideration committee. One lady shared the book up for review at that point was identical. It was the second book they were reviewing. And as you know from attending these meetings, it's about two identical twins. One's abused by her father sexually and the other is not. And one of the librarians who works in talking that I've known for damn near almost 20 years, got up and shared her very personal story that this had happened in her house when she was a child, and her sister used to sleep in front of her bedroom door. And while that book was hard for her to read, she was glad she had read it because that was the first time that she's from the forget to forget generation. We don't think about these things, we don't talk about these things. But that was the first time that she had stopped and considered what was going on, what her sister was thinking and feeling. The next librarian who was on the committee who spoke about the book talked about how that wasn't her life, but she had similar issues, and her friends had that life, and none of them talked about it until they were in their 20s. And I'm not illustrating their shared experiences to tell their stories, but that was a point when what I have become to think of as the merry band of book banners became audibly raucous after several warnings from the chair, Hugh Leslie, who had told them that they needed to behave, that it was a quasi-judicial proceeding, that there was not room for public testimony, even though the public was welcome to witness the proceedings. Their audible levels increased until he had to adjourn the meeting. The committee dispersed as you do at the adjournment of the meeting. Our friend here kept filming, and they went up to the podium, including an assembly person, to give testimony as if the meeting was continued. I'm sure if you look on the borough website, the meeting is ended at the adjournment, and you can't see any more of the video. But if you want to watch it, you could just Google Politadick, and it'll take you to the school board meeting.
Okay, is there anyone else? I'm sorry, sir, she had already.
Actually, it's okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Pamela Nelson.
Please speak into the microphone.
My name is Pamela Nelson. Nice to see everybody this evening. I'm here in some pretty absolute shock, actually. Hearing our city staff referred to as pornography lovers or pedophiles or groomers is just absolutely nuts. As a parent, as a foster parent who has helped many children, many lost children, I can tell you one thing for sure. The hardest thing to do is to get them to talk to get them to share, to open up to. And if there is anything that helps them, any book in the library, that helps them share their pain, share what they've been through, so that we can give them proper help, then those books need to stay there. It is not up to anyone to tell me what my children can read. Anyone. It's just called parenting. We all love our kids. We want the absolute best for them. But again, it is my choice. Now, do I want them reading inappropriate material? No. Do I trust that I know what they're checking out of the library? Yes, I do. Do I trust that I know what they're reading and appropriate judgment? Yes, I do. One thing I would like to ask you council members to do, and this is kind of part of my shock and dismay. I understand that free speech is a right, and we all need it. But I think it's time for the council to stand up and say it's time for these personal attacks to stop. Because what I have heard through the recordings of these meetings and what I saw here tonight and I'm listening to from audience members truly is unbelievable. We are all parents. We love our kids. We love our grandkids. I'm not there yet, but one day I will be. Hopefully not too soon. But truly, please stand up, council members, Madam Mayor. These personal attacks have to stop. Because it does no one any good. No one at all. As parents, we have the right to stand up for our kids. We absolutely should. But as parents, it's also our very personal choice. And we have to make the right decisions. And hearing what's going on in these chambers tonight has been more than difficult. I grew up in these halls, and I mean that literally. I attended kindergarten and first grade in the old PE wing. Dad was finance director for 20 years. My grandmother founded the Westfield Public Library with other community members. Let's stand up for our city employees. Let's stand up for our kids' parents. But the personal attacks have got to stop. Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else? Please begin your testimony by stating your first and last name.
Mark Sloan, thank you, Mayor and Assembly people. I see no use of taxpayer money. We don't buy drugs for people, we don't buy alcohol for people, but yet we can use taxpayer money to supply pornography in our libraries. Does that really make sense? Some people might think that's good to read pornography. I don't want my taxpayer money being spent to supply pornography and let these kids get their hands on it. How about some common sense in this world? Just think about it. You people have been elected. You've got a responsibility to do something about this. Thank you for your time.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak at this time?
Hi, I'm Mary Ravetta, and I'm in the outskirts of Wasilla. I have been living here about 2 years. I've spent most of my time in Los Angeles and Washington State. I was an engineer there and retired at Boeing as an engineer. And while I was an engineer, I got a master's in psychology, counseling, marriage, family, child counseling. I went through periods of time of sexual brokenness and went through sexual healing, and there's level 1 sexual brokenness, includes masturbation, promiscuous activity, pornography. Level 2 sexual addiction is marital affairs, and level 3 is illegal activities, pedophilia, and prostitution, if it's illegal, basically, in that portion of the country. So anything illegal is level 3. So what, by just like the gentleman before talked about alcohol, drugs, and sex, they're all addictions that are from wounded, unhealed areas of one's life, and it takes years to heal these areas. And it's wounding, basically, to give that kind of material to children. So that's just my input on this subject. To ask for something to be done is to protect the children, is what I'm asking for. Thanks.
Okay, anyone else? No one? Persons to be heard is closed. We are now on the consent agenda. Madam Deputy Clerk, please read the item for approval under the consent agenda by title.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have the regular meeting minutes of January 8th, 2024, and 5 introductions up for public hearing on February 12th, 2024. The first ordinance is ordinance serial number 24-04, amending the fiscal year 2024 budget by appropriating $25,000 from the general fund balance to the airport equipment fund for the purchase of equipment, including road parts. Ordinance serial number 24-05, amending also municipal code sections 13.04, .170, and 13.04.130 to clarify customer testing and reporting requirements for backflow prevention, allowing for the collection of
Live camera. You guys want to talk or no? All right, give me just a second. The camera will be off.
You're gonna be done? You're leaving for the...
I was supposed to be at a different event right now. All right, my fellow Alaskans, thank you for being here today. We are here in the Wasilla City Council chambers. You can hear the grievances that was brought up here today due to the broadcast just last week on the Public Library Review Board. Man, such a big cow over a title. The level of depravity in that group in the back there is unreal. They are so woke, and their agenda is being pushed so hard, it's unreal. And you can see them here in those folks there. They do everything they can in their power to push the agenda within our schools, misrepresent what is actually being done, what is actually said within those books. And they want you to believe that they are innocent, that these books are not graphic, that they do not have material within them that should never be in the hands of children. You can watch last week's video and clearly see the emotional trauma of those on the book review board that they had over the book that they were reviewing, Red Hood. And they expect children to be able to process this if they, as adults, are having this type of emotional trauma over reading a book, and they want that in our public library system. Now, the whole reason why I came here tonight, I'm supposed to be at the Alaska School of Government live streaming right now, but I came here because they personally started attacking me and going after people out there that support what I do, making sure that you guys get to see this kind of material unfiltered and uncut, and something mainstream media refuses to do. Like they said, yeah, I kept on streaming. It's so upsetting because their agenda, what they have on and don't want the public to see, they're upset because I was there making sure that there was an extremely large audience that was able to participate and watch this beyond the borough's streaming of it. And she directly pointed out, the borough shut down their video. And she's upset, in my opinion, she is very upset because I was streaming what they didn't want the public to see, which is the parents sitting in the room extremely upset, voices being ignored, not being listened to, not being heard, not given an opportunity to speak up on these things to them directly. They are trying to do this all as an internal process where them alone get to make the decision, and our input as the public who pays for it, our tax money, we have no say in the process, and that's pretty much how they like to keep it. Don't forget to like
like and share this video and click that bell to be notified every time we go live. Go to our website, politadick.com, click that support button, make a donation. Your support is what's making these videos possible and exposing the deep-seated corruption within our state that for everyone to see. Thank you guys all once again for being here. Like, share this video, and I will see you the next time. I'm going to head over to the Alaska School of Government. The video may be late getting started, but at least I'll broadcast most of what's going on there. Thanks again for being here. Like and share.
Home Friday afternoon, and there were, I can't even tell you, not
Bear
to be
with us,
rude,
folks. They're
but I
giving a
can't even tell you
second
what
out
the two
pie,
big machines that were chewing
shot
up
at the
the
pie
snow,
to be able to
and
talk.
2 dump trucks. And I know, Mr. Crafton, you've said to me
Oh,
before,
no, never
"Wow, I
mind.
wanna
Thank you
live
guys
in
all
your
for being here
neighborhood."
again. Don't forget, like and
As
share.
they do. Little research walk, and I love to check these things out. I think I'm going to do a survey and find out when the Friends of the Wasilla Library event if there's an economic bump, because we have honestly 100, 150, 200 people show up to our events. Storytime walks that you've nicely, your company has supported. Storytime with Santa had about 175 people. Hungry kids, hungry parents, I'm sure they go to the restaurants, I'm sure they go to the stores and buy groceries and clothing and Christmas presents. So I want to thank you for your continuing support of the library and hope that we can come to a conclusion on this. Thank you for your time.
Again, Jeannie Krasinski, President, Friends of Wasilla Library. Just a couple other things I wanted to follow up with the confusing world. I know it's really complicated and it's hard for people to understand, having served on committees in the borough. There are borough libraries, so thank you, Mayor Ledford, for pointing that out. That is one group and it's governed by the borough assembly. There are school libraries, those are overseen by the school board, and then there are city libraries. Our library is a city library. The city of Wasilla has no education powers. We have no oversight over the education in the valley. That's up to the school district to take care of that. One of the things that's interesting that this group does is they'll conflate things. They talk about a librarian in Fairbanks said this, a librarian in Ketchikan said this. Okay, that's not Wasilla. That's not our people. So what I would really like to ask each and every one of you as council members to do is please reach out and talk to our library director. Please take the time to really find out what is going on at our library. If you want to reach out to him, ask me. I'd love to give you a tour of the library. I worked on getting this building built. I am super proud of it. I am super proud of the great things that go on there. We have a marvelous library. 105,000 people went through our doors last fiscal year. 2 of them are the main leaders of this complaint team. They threw a big fit in May because they found out they had to have a library card to make challenges in the rural libraries and in our library. I want you to think about that. They had to get library cards. They even say in the meetings that they didn't really go look for the books. They got a list offline. These are not the people that are using our library and very happy with our library. These are people who have a political agenda. It's just disappointing. It goes back to my whole love of our community. Let's not let them split us apart. Let's not let them destroy a wonderful community. They have the right to their opinions, but they are opinions, and they don't have a right to spread lies. We're way better than that. Wasilla is an amazing, amazing community. And I really appreciate the work that you do. And what a challenge it is to serve in government. Because I've also served on boards and I know how hard it is. And I know how much time you put in to make this happen. But please do a little more research. Please reach out to our library staff and visit our library. Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
My name is Jackie Goforth. Identical has so many things in there that if a 14-year-old girl who didn't look at her father that way might look at him that way now. It has so many things in there that I don't think you understand. Kaylee was playing volleyball with Dad. You might think because of some things I've seen Daddy do, I'd be disgusted by sex. No way. I really like how it feels. I plan to do a lot for self-medication of drinking. I need term for getting screwed up to the point of passing out. I need to be that messed up to get to sleep tonight. These are what they're saying is not enticing. Weird, I always thought cutters were sick. Sicker than me even. But with a single swipe, I understand why they do it, why they like it, even though they hate it. I let the water run over the cut, ratchet hotter, watch the blood slow, stutter, almost halt. I like the way the exposed flesh looks, all pinkish white. It looks new, although I know that isn't right. It takes all my willpower not to flinch when Daddy's fingers catch my cheeks and pinch my mouth open. I'll decide what is or isn't trouble. You just follow orders. Once again, we engage in easy sex, hardly a word exchange between us. Drinking, smoking, feeling the creep of the poppy all along my spine, skull to tailbone. I know the high is mostly hash, not so different from regular cannabis, although it's tastier. But the opium topper provides a whole new set of rushes, body rushes, like little shivers, head shivers, like turning in circles, round and round, don't fall down. He flips me onto my belly and yanks my legs apart. Oh, this is digger. I don't have to see the restraints to know they're there. The ankle nuts do not surprise me. I am helpless. But I see quickly that I like it. I might ask him to play it again. And here's the binging purging. I do like the cool of porcelain on my face, the solid of tile beneath my butt. Most of all, I like my belly emptied, even temporarily, of food, of fat. Now that I've evacuated my stomach, I can swallow the oxy I borrowed for myself. Daddy had been back to Kaylee for lollipop licking. She had a vague notion that was wrong. She wasn't sure why, but she didn't know who to ask. They'd probably just be jealous. More drugs, more men, more sex. Do you think there's really such a thing as enough? I'm kind of liking this blood thing while we did that one quick. A dozen painkillers washed down with whiskey. More drugs, better drugs. Maybe it's time to graduate from pot, hash, and pills to something stronger. That opiated stuff was great. I wonder what heroin is like. I hear it drops you down where pain can't find you. Any drug would be good right at this moment. This is what you call enticement. Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else at this time?
Hi, my name is Bert, known as Politadick. I had no intentions of coming back up here a second time, but after finding myself directly being pointed out by many of the different testifiers, either pro or con, I feel it's my duty to be back up here again to emphasize the fact that the activists, the ones that are claiming that we, the people, parents, the ones that are actively showing up on a daily basis every time and every opportunity they get to be able to speak publicly about what is going on within our borough, within our districts, within our state, within the United States, needs to be heard. Our voices are being silenced. If you're going to be reviewing books that are in a public library, then they need to allow the public to help review those books. It shouldn't be a unilateral decision being decided by board members who are appointed by the public library system in the first place, or maybe they were picked vicariously other directions. I know the MatSu in the Palmer area, that's actually for the school boards, has done a pretty good job of being able to get the board members that needed, that represented the public that they represent, directly being targeted by the people that are sitting in the back of the room right now. Because I am an activist, I am also a reporter. I also make sure that I am unfiltered and uncut, streaming what they do not want us to see. Why are they so upset that I was at that meeting? Why are they so upset because I had mislabeled something? Because it showed how extremely extremist they really are, the agenda that they are pushing on all of us to be able to see and hear. When are we going to actually start standing up and putting our foot down and stop allowing those, whether it be on a personal parental level or those who are on an administrative level on the boards, or you as a community council, when are we going to start speaking up and speaking out and pointing out when they do personal attacks, which those in the back of the room have done multiple times today? I made sure that I did not name names of who targeted me and my business and the private businesses that were out there. But they, in the back of the room, the friends of the library, they don't hesitate to attack people that don't agree with their agenda. They don't hesitate to call them names. They don't hesitate to target their businesses. They made it very clear that they have the agenda out there to push their agenda. If they're not politically motivated or politically putting forward their agenda to the rest of us, what are they doing? That's what it appears to me. I'm sure that appears that to the rest of the public too. That is exactly what they are. They got a political agenda, a personal agenda, an LGBTQ plus, I have no clue what I am agenda. When are they going to realize that science matters and their personal feelings and views have no business being within politics? It's facts that matter, not their feelings.
Is there anyone else?
And here she comes again.
And I wanted to talk about employee retention, and just really quickly, I'd like to state that I have not read identical cover to cover, but I have read other Ellen Hopkins books, and I found them to be cautionary tales, and I would encourage you to read the entire work before forming your own opinion. So I'm really excited that you guys are looking at employee retention. And just for those of you who don't know how the unions came into the city, I thought a little history lesson would be helpful. In 2007, people voted to allow the city to opt out of PARA, which is the Alaska Public Employees Relations Act. And in approving that ordinance, when the city council, I forget the word, but ratified the election, it repealed in its entirety Wasilla Municipal Code 3.90.080. I'm sorry. So in one fell swoop, that allowed unions to come into the city. So now there are 3 unions, and there's also a group of non-represented employees. But part of that code was that the council would meet with employees once a year to discuss terms of employment. And I don't know if it's just through oversight, but nobody's met with the non-represented employees who chose not to join unions since 2007, since the unions were allowed to come in. And the PD, the public works techs, and the sports centers all became unionized, but the library staff, the finance staff, the public works administrative staff, human resources, planning, and the clerk's office, and museum staff did not. I listened to what you guys said in the last meeting, and I thought, well, there are some things, like I studied Title III a lot when I worked here, that you could maybe do now without waiting for a study if you were so inclined. You could request to meet with the non-represented employees and hear what they have to say. As a council, you could let the mayor know, under the code, she can give a one-time longevity bonus to people like John Becker, who are topped out in his pay grade, of up to 3% on an annual basis, without obligating the city to do that any other year. As a, thank you for your longevity, we recognize you're topped out on your pay grade. You could solicit non-represented employee input and make changes to Title III. And other people have already talked about showing support, other ways you can show support to the staff. So I just wanted to say thank you for taking a look at this. It's important, and I'm excited to see what becomes of it. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Seeing no one, we will close audience comments, bring it back to the dais. Madam Deputy Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just wanted to remind the council of the special meeting this Wednesday at 6 p.m. This is going to be a joint meeting with the Planning Commission on the Title 16 rewrite.
City Attorney.
Okay, I know I lied before and said that I was done. Now I am officially done. Hearing that they've given a second bite at the apple, that never really happens that early. It's very obvious that what the intentions were. They saw us all get up and walk out of the room, and so they thought they would give those in the back of the room another bite at the apple. And it's really, really surprising. So thank you guys all for being here. Like and share this video. And let's just keep exposing the agenda that's going on out there. The ones that they don't want you to see, that's clearly what this is all about. They want you to misrepresent what is actually being said. They don't want you to actually know what's in those books. It's not just a small section, it's an entire ordeal. Thank you again for being here. We greatly appreciate it. Have a nice day and share this video. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
On the council and to listen to both sides, and whether they're vocal